If there's anyone here, it's 2 people here. If there's anyone here. So I see we have Mark and Rawat. Hello guys, can you hear me? So this is the first time I do this, so you better help me now. That's good. But if you guys can hear me, can you please write in the comments so I know that you'll hear my voice? What happened to my screen? Oh. So I see we have Mark. Okay, good. It's good that you can hear me. Loud and clear. Okay, good. I don't have to scream. That's good. So I'm just gonna wait for a while. I know that Andy do have his live right now. Hey AC, how are you? So I'm looking at my phone just to see your comments. And I hope everyone's having a good day wherever you are in the world. I'm in Sweden and it's really cold here. So I'm right now looking at Bitcoin. And we are just bouncing off 4,917. I want to see how the market reacts to this level on 42359. And if you have been looking at my YouTube videos, you know that I'm using support and resistance zones a lot. So for the market to come up here as a resistance right now, it's really good looking for opportunities to either buy or sell the market. Obviously, we do have this huge little downtrend right now. Straight from Andy's stream. I'm very good, thank you. Okay, someone... So I haven't looked at... So Singapore is here. Welcome to Sweden. I'm in Sweden right now. Canada is here. That's good. I have a couple of friends from Canada that's actually very good traders. The popcorn. So, was it Sarah wanted me? Switzerland. Hungary. Chile also is here. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy there's a lot of people that's in my stream. Washington is here. Hello, hello everyone. I'm in Sweden. And it was Bulgaria, India. That's good. It was someone told me about XRP, so I can start looking at that. As I told you, I haven't looked at Nigeria is here. Hello. I haven't looked at XRP for a while. I just have to do Argentina, Malaysia. Oh, you guys, you're from all over the world. That's fun. Is that Belgium? Belgium? Belgic? That's how you say it? You're my Dutch. That's good. Everyone needs a mark in their life. California, hello. I'm gonna look at Ethereum too. Just 1 second. I just need to do this. It's a lot of cryptocurrencies that I've never actually been looking at, but it's gonna be fun looking at them and try to see if I can help you with something. Just 1 second. Mark. Okay, so we can start with XRP. Obviously, it's following. It looks kind of like Bitcoin, but let's start from the beginning. No problem. If you're starting, I want to see how it looks on the weekly. Matic. I'm gonna look at it. Looking at the weekly, just want to look. We can see that we are coming down to the previous resistance right here. It was a small lower high. It doesn't look so good on the weekly, but if we're going to the daily, can go back and see. can make this one a little thicker so you can see how it looks in white. So we are at the daily right now. No, the weekly. I'm going to the daily to see. Oh, hello, Pamela. I'm so happy that you are on this live. It's fun to see that you people that are actually commenting on my YouTube videos. I recognize you guys. That's good. I'm very happy to see that. I do appreciate everyone looking at my videos. It's been I've been doing this since 14th of August, and it's a lot of people that's been reaching out to me, so that's good. And Andy is here too. Hello Andy, welcome to my channel. This is my first live stream. Okay, so I'm gonna continue with XRP. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna look at the comments below because I'm never gonna be able to analyze. So you can continue writing. So I'll come back to the comments soon. So thank you. So I'm gonna give you something to look at the charts now. But please continue commenting. It's very nice. But if you're looking at XRP on the daily, the first thing that I did, I wanted to put a resistance to see where the market is reacting to. Obviously, the weekly is just something that we need to look at on the overall picture, and we're just breaking everything down. We can see that we made a low right here, and I want to see why the market did come to this area. I like to use the line chart. Makes it easier for me to see what the market has been doing. And we can go back and see that we came back down and retested 0.8963. It's a previous resistance. It's a small one, but it's still a resistance. And as you can see, we just slammed to the downside. So usually what I want the market to do is to come back to previous support or resistance zone so I can see what the market has been doing. But if we're looking at the overall picture on most of the cryptocurrencies, we are on our way down. And that's what we can see. It's pretty hard right now to trade on XRP if we're looking at the higher time frames, because obviously I want the market to either come back up here so I can see if the market is reacting to this previous support, maybe turning it to a new resistance. And but right now we are at the support. Looking at overall, can take the Fibonacci on the daily too to see where we potentially can come to. Thank you. So when we see the market spiking to the upside like this, obviously we need to be careful when we're trading. You don't just want to sell right now, because obviously we came to a support right here, a previous resistance turning into support. So what the market is doing right now, we are doing our pullback, because the overall picture, we are in a downtrend right now. So when the market is doing its little uptrend, we are doing the pullback. So I always use Fibonacci for me to be able to see where the market potentially can come to. And Carl is here. Wow, hello Carl, I'm so happy. The moon, Carl the moon. But I want to see if the market comes to this Fibonacci level, and I took it from the previous high that we did have here. That's 1.1263 to the low, and that is 0.8724. So if the market comes up here, that's when I'm doing, I'm starting to look at where I can potentially have my entries and to see if the market's starting to break to the downside. So obviously right now for me it's hard. I don't want to, I wouldn't trade this right now, but I'm not going to tell anyone what to do. But what I usually do is that I take a just a line to against these Fibonacci levels, because I'm trading, I always trade based off the 50 and 61%. Some people use different, but that's what I do. But I do put an alert, so when the market comes to this area right here, I have a notification telling me, okay, the market is coming here right now. So that's when I start to see. So looking at XRP, I want the market to come up here for me to be able to see if the market is doing its pullback and if the pullback will be done. And after that, I'm looking at the lower time frames. So what's easy to do is I only copy and paste it to the lower time frames. You can see that we, on the lower time frames, we are having our little uptrend, because we are making a, we did make a low, came up and made a higher low, a higher high, higher low. So obviously this is the area where I want XRP to come to right now, because we just slammed, we just came back down, have a huge had a huge run to the downside. And what we always learn when we are starting to trade is that we want to sell the market as high as possible. And right now we are at the bottom of the lower low right here. So we want to have a lower high, and it's on the lower high that we are looking for our entries. And using the Fibonacci, that's how I'm trying to find the entry. So on XRP, I want the market to come to this previous support right here, and also using the Fibonacci levels based off, because the market can, you know, it can come up a little bit more than the Fibonacci levels, and then, but I want to see where the market is starting to react to it. And so this is the overall picture that I have right now on XRP. I want it to come up to at least 1.0349, and obviously I want to have rejections, like dojis, Morningstar, different types of a lot of spikes to the downside. Maybe not something like this, but so sweet, guys. You're so sweet, guys. Thank you so much. Please like this video. And so yeah, this is XRP. I hope you gave you something to think about. But definitely look at this previous support that we did have. So if the market comes back up here, this is where we want to see the market starting to react to it. So it's showing us that it's on its way down, because you could see that we did have this little box right here. The market just consolidated. The market broke to the downside, and usually what the market is doing is that it's actually coming back up and retest the previous low, the previous support, turning it to resistance. We just might start to continue going to the upside, but looking at what price is doing right now, the price, it's on its way down. So when you're starting to look at buy opportunities, obviously we want the market to break 1.1433 for us to be able to see that it's actually on its way up. But that's not something, I mean, the price is not there right now, so that's not, I don't look at that right now. But obviously if the market continues straight up, I'm gonna start to looking at buy opportunities more than sell opportunities. But based off that we are just going straight down, based on that we're just going straight down on the overall picture, obviously we want to follow price all the time, and having a huge candlestick like this to the downside, and this candlestick right here, you can trade it, but that's scalping, because you're just getting in and out, because you don't know when the pullback is over. So just because of this doesn't mean the market's just gonna turn its way up and just spike to the upside. So right now we do have our little pullback, and the beauty with Fibonacci is that we can see where because the market reacts to Fibonacci levels, and that's why it's really important. And I always use Fibonacci, and I use it on different time frames. Looking at Ethereum, I think someone told me that you wanted me to look at Ethereum. I can scalp, yes. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I trade the pullback, and sometimes I don't. It depends. It depends on what type of or how the market looks, basically. So, but when you start to understand how market works, you can. But it's obviously it's more of a risk to scalp, especially if you're scalping on the pullbacks, because you never actually know when the pullback is over. But that depends on what type of personality you are. If you want everything to go quick and fast, I mean, that's good. Scalping is pretty fun sometimes. And on Ethereum, we're starting with the daily. We can also Mark, it's so funny. Starting with the daily, I obviously already have it, and it looks the same. You have the previous support right here, and the market is actually coming to it right now. If we are breaking this support, you have this. You have 3,200. That's an area you need to look at. We came back down here. We've been here before a lot of times, so that's why I have this. I did have this since before, and the market came down there and respected it. And right now we are in between. We are in between 3,000 and 2,700. And right now we are actually reacting to a previous. We had the support since yesterday, so we're coming up right now, and we are retesting it. And if you're looking at the lower time frames, I'm trying to find, so when I'm using the higher time frames, I'm trying to combine that with the lower time frames, also support and resistance, because you have a support right here on the higher time frames, but the more you are breaking the market down, I mean, on the lower time frames, you have other support and resistance zones, because you're using different time frames. And the best thing that you can do is trying to see where the biggest on the highest time frame, let's say 4 hour, because I don't use if we are not at a area on the weekly or daily, obviously we're not going to wait for the market to come there. We have to be where the price is, right? So right now we are at a very respected support on the 4 hour, and that's 2984, around that area. And I just copy and paste it to the smaller time frames, and I'm trying to find where the market where we have a support or resistance on the lower time frame. So I'm just trying to combine these together. And what I can see, I'm just gonna change this one. Oh, Wayne is here. Hello, Wayne. I'm so happy that you are here with me. Yeah, you came late. Never do that again, okay? Never. And you can see that we did actually come to this support. Right now, looking back to see. We had this huge wick to the downside. Also, that's respected it. But okay, so what I think Ethereum will do, I can take the Fibonacci on the 12-hour too. But I think it's, I don't know, I think it's too, it's okay. It's okay. I can take it. 30665 from the high to the low, and the low is 2758. And we can see that we are just in the Fibonacci level right here, right now. Take this away. So we are right now at the Fibonacci level. So if I would sell Ethereum, obviously because we are in a downtrend, let's see. Yeah, I think I would want the market to come up a little bit more. So we do have the Fibonacci levels on the higher time frames, but I don't think I want to use that one right now, because you can see that the market is still on its way up. So using the lower time frames on Ethereum, I would want the market to, I'm gonna make it smaller. So if I would see continuation to the upside, I want the market to break this little box that I do have here. I want it to come up, and then it might just continue to the upside. And if the market does continue, if the market breaks this zone right here, you can see that we have it on the higher time frames also. The target that I would have, and this is a scalp, I would scalp this. I would take it to the next support that we do have here. And after that, obviously, I can just move my stop loss with my buy opportunity. But that's if the market comes back up and break it to the upside, comes back down and retest it. And with a retest, I want to retest. So if the market breaks it, I want the market to break it, come back down, and I want the market to retest it 2 times. So first time and the second time. And if I see that the market is giving me rejections like a doji, Morningstar, yeah, I would definitely buy the market at that area, and I would have my target around 3,200. But and when the market if the market comes to this area, obviously we have to wait and see if the market is making, because right now you can see on the higher time frames that we did have a lower high. We had lower high coming back down, and we just was on its way down the whole time. We made a lower low right here, so the market can potentially come back up and give us a new lower high. So from if I would trade around here to buy the market, I'm scalping it from around 2,979 to 3,200. And after that, if I start to see that the market it's on its way down, I obviously want to sell the market, because you can see we do have the support. And what do we always learn? That support turning into resistance. And this was the previous lower high turning into a lower low, turning into a lower high. So if we're looking at market structure, we can see that the market is doing it perfectly right now. So buy opportunities, if I would see Ethereum going up again, it actually has to break this zone right here, because this was the high that we did have. We did the high, the market came back down and gave us a low, came back up, gave us a lower high, because it's obviously it's obvious it's closing below the previous lower high. I'm still bullish. Well, the market, I mean, the overall picture, we're still in an uptrend. So yeah, you're definitely right. We are still in an uptrend. We're still bullish, but if we're breaking it down to the lower time frames, we are in a downtrend right now. And I mean, if you don't want to wait forever to see what's happening on the higher time frames, we're just breaking everything down to the lower time frames, and that's what I do, and that's how I trade. I can look at the weekly, yeah. And if we're taking the Fibonacci on the weekly from the low 1877 to the high, and that's 3969, you can see that we are in the Fibonacci level. So in the overall picture, yeah, we are in a uptrend. You had the low, you had the higher high, but we closed just beside the previous all-time high, came back down. But if you're looking at the daily, we are in a uptrend. Oh yeah, we came back down a little bit, but I mean, we came back down and retested this. So we are in a zone. We are in the weekly zone, and I do have it on Fibonacci on Bitcoin, and I did talk about that. So yeah, we could definitely start to see that the market is on its way up, but we do need the market to break this high right here for us to be able to see that the market is actually on its way up, because we did break the previous higher low that we did have here. We came back down and broke it. So right now we are in a downtrend. And I mean, obviously everyone's looking at the bigger picture, yeah. But as a trader, for me, I mean, you can buy the market, you can sell the market. You just have to know depending on what time frames you're looking at. So if you're a scalper, you're looking at the lower time frames, and 1 hour maybe be a downtrend, but on the 4 hour it's an uptrend. You just need to know your levels, where the market is breaking its levels. So if we're looking at the daily, we can see that we did break this lower lower high, because it came up, it never broke the previous high, so we made a lower high, came back down, we broke the previous higher low, and now we made a lower low. And we are retesting the previous support, also a previous higher low, because this was an uptrend. This area right here, we were in a uptrend, but we broke it. So on the daily, we are in a downtrend. This is why it's really important that you're using different time frames, and obviously we want to see the overall picture, yes. But if the weekly closes like this, for myself, I can still see the market continue to the downside. I think I do believe the market will continue to the downside for a bit. But it doesn't, I mean, who knows? But that's why it's really important. It's really important to see what the market will do with this support. If it's going to break it to the upside, or if it's going to respect it and give us rejections and then continues to the downside. The market can also come back to 3178, and it can come back up here and give us a new lower high. if we are taking, I hope I don't confuse you guys. Obviously, sometimes it can be hard to explain because in my head it sounds so good. But if there's something that you don't understand, please tell me so I can try to break it down to you. But if you're taking the Fibonacci level, because right now I'm looking at the market as a downtrend right now, because we did break this previous higher low, made a new low. So if the market is giving us a new lower high, I'm using the Fibonacci to see where it potentially can come to. And if we are combining the Fibonacci level right now with 3184, you can see that we are at the support, the previous support. And what the market is doing, as I told you before, the market is most of the time using the previous support, making a new resistance, and then it just might come back down. I'm just saying might. I'm just showing you how market structure works. Comes back up, retest the previous lower low, make a new lower high, continues down. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but this is how market is moving. So before anyone says, okay, the market is really pumping to the upside, yes, but it has to break certain areas for the market for you to say that we are in an uptrend right now. That's just technical analyze. You have to break certain areas for you to say that this is a uptrend, because right now the market on the daily on Ethereum, we are in a downtrend. So before I start to buy the market and hold the market, I have to see that the market is breaking different types of areas. But that's how I trade. And it works for me. It works really good. Taking this one away. Mark, you're so funny, but you're intelligent too. You say the right things, but you're always giving some funny things inside of this very smart thing you're talking about. I was looking at Bitcoin. I don't use volume. The only thing that I'm using is market structure with price action and Fibonacci. I've been looking at, you can see that I do have the volume right here. I'm practicing on it. But, I mean, when you have your way of trading, volume is very good. I've seen other people using volume. But I wasn't, in the beginning when I started to trade, I never used it. And it was like a couple of, I think it was like 3 months ago, someone talked to me about volume. I started to look at it, but you know, when you've been looking at the charts for so many years and you have your own way of seeing it, it was hard for me to take volume into the way I saw the market. And that's just me. I know And is very good at using the volume. I've seen him do it. And I've seen other people do it too. But it just doesn't click inside of my head. You see? I am not in a trade right now on Bitcoin. But I do have a sell limit order. But it's not activated. And I have it on Bitcoin. and it's actually around here, or 45459. It's pretty far away, but if you're looking at Bitcoin, and I think a lot of you do, you can look at the chart 1 minute and the next minute the market is over here. So I like to use my limit orders. So but I am not in a current trade right now. And what I like to do, because I'm in Sweden, I like to look at the market very early in the morning. So I start to look at the market around this time right here, 8 o'clock. And that's just in the beginning of London session. And I'm actually, I see that you guys, you are all over the world. But my plan is to start to have my lives just in the beginning, in the morning before London session, so I can actually have you guys looking at the charts together with me in the morning. And depending on where you are, obviously I think it can be hard for some of you people, especially if you are in the US. But that's something that I like to do. I like to look at the charts before London session opens, and right now New York just closed, or at the end of New York, and you can see that right now is the market has already done its move. So that's why I love to look at the charts in the morning. It's pretty good for me. I'm in Sweden, so for me it's perfect. But if we're looking at Bitcoin, it's the same thing. I want the market to come to this level right here, 44980. And why? Because yeah, I know. It's a lot of people that from US that tells me that they don't like being in the US when it comes to trading, because a lot of people recommend to go in before London. But hey, sometimes you need to prioritize. You have to go up that time. You can try to do it. It's really good. It sucks, but it's good for me. But on Bitcoin, I want the market to come up a little bit more, and we can see that we do have this huge candlestick to the upside. That we've been bullish during this day. We came to the low, and I did have on the weekly. If we are having the Fibonacci on the weekly, we can see that the market did come to the Fibonacci level. So I took it from 31732 to the high 51773. And as I told you before, if you've been looking at my YouTube videos that I did put up, I've been talking about this level for weeks right now. The market came into this level, and this is why it's really important. This is really important to use these kind of levels, because you know now that the market always respects Fibonacci levels. It always does that, and you can see so clear where the market came to. But I still believe the market will continue to the downside a little bit more. It can come back down and just continue being inside of this Fibonacci level, and then it just might slowly starting to go to the upside. But for me, it's too big of candles it's too big bearish candles to the downside. I always have the same settings. I can actually give it to you right now, guys. I did have it on one of my YouTube videos, but I can show you now, and you can just screenshot it if you want to. So these are the levels that I'm using. And I've been using this for maybe 2 years. I never changed it. And it's the, you can see where I have the blue 1.5, 1.6, 188. Those are the ones that I'm using, and this is the blues right here. And I want the market to, this is the where I want the market to come to. And this is the smart thing that you can use if you're using these as I have. And if you're not sure where you will have your take profits, I'm gonna show you this. It's too much things going on. I'm just gonna show you guys. So this is my Fibonacci right here. And you can see right now, this is how it looks. So it's the 50 and 61% that I'm using. And this is the 61 and this is the 50. So when the market comes to these areas, I want to see if the market reacts to it. And if you are unsure on where to have your take profits, you can use these ones that's white to have these as take profit. So this one can be take profit 1, take profit 2, and take profit 3. Very good. But sometimes, I mean, I don't use it. I used it in the beginning, but right, what I do when I'm using my take profits, I usually have the previous, if I want to buy the market right now. If I'm using for example, no, it's not a good idea, but I'm using the previous lower highs. If I'm buying the market, I'm looking at the previous high as my take profits. Hello, Luis. I'm very happy that you are here. Yes, I can start to have the levels when I'm doing lives, but I don't want to have it when I'm recording the videos. But definitely when the next live tomorrow, Govind, I'm gonna have the numbers on if you are looking at my live in the morning. Okay, so if I want to find out where the next, as I told you, the next lower high can be, I want the market to come to this Fibonacci level. I'm sorry, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna answer you soon, Wayne. So when I want the market to come to the Fibonacci levels that I'm using on the higher time frames, and if I see that the market's reacting to it, you can also see that we are reacting to a previous support. So right now we just have to wait, or I have to wait for the market to come up here. And if I see the market, if I see that the market is giving us rejections, I'm starting to look at the lower time frames to see what's happening, because obviously on the lower time frames is showing you the beginning of a new downtrend. So I'm gonna take these away because these are actually confusing, and that's something that you need to think about. Just giving you something to think about is that when you're having too many things on the charts, it's easy to confuse yourself very much. Very easy. But if the market comes here, comes back up here, we can see, as I told you before, that we are trying to find support and resistance zones on the higher time frames and combining that with the lower time frame support and resistance. And we can use this Fibonacci level right here, and we can see that we do have a support, a previous support that also been here before as a resistance. And if the market comes back up here, because you can see on the lower time frames that we do have the pullback right now, because you see this huge candlestick to the upside. The overall picture, the overall trend is a downtrend. If we're looking at the daily, you can see we have a high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, might have a new lower high. But on the lower time frames, we are in a uptrend. The bigger picture, we are in a downtrend. But with this candle right here on the lower time frames, we are in a uptrend. So right now the market is giving us higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high. And if the market comes up here and I start to see that the market is actually reacting to this area and start to give me lower highs and lower highs and lower lows, and obviously at that point we have more data on what the market has been doing, so at that point we can use other support and resistance zones. Right now I can only use what I see on the market, what happened before. But obviously the more recent data, it's obviously better, because we want to see how price react to a price that's kind of just happened. So that's more accurate. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. But right now I can only use these levels right here. So for it right now, I want the market to continue to the upside. You can scalp it if you want to. But obviously you need to be careful, because the market doesn't have to come up to this area. This is just potential areas that I want the market to come to. And obviously you don't want to look at the market like this the whole time. I mean, because as Pamela, I mean, she have to sleep, obviously, and that's, I mean, we all have to sleep. We all have different things to do during the day. So what the best thing you can do is that you are taking a line like this, and I can go and do whatever I want to, but I'm taking this alarm, and when the market is crossing this area to the upside, I push take create, and when the market comes right here, the trading view will send me a alarm, and with that I can start to look at the market and see if it's actually on its way down or if the market continue to the upside. So I can't decide what to do right now, because obviously price is not there. The market is right here right now, giving us a uptrend. Oh. So, like, if you're looking at a chart like this, it's really hard. I mean, you can't trade right now. I know it's a lot of retail traders that when you don't know how to trade and you see a market just going up like this, and they start to, they see a market like this, what you have to wait for is the market to come back down again. And then you're buying. You're never buying when the market is this high up. Yeah, so Wayne, what I want the market to do, I want the market to come up to this area right here using the 61 and 50% of my Fibonacci. I want to see I want to see if the market comes to this area, I want to start. If I want to see sell opportunities, because we are in a downtrend in the overall picture. So what I want to do, obviously, I want to sell the market as high as possible to have the best price. And when I'm using the Fibonacci, as we all know, the market is reacting to Fibonacci levels. And having the Fibonacci on the higher time frames, because higher time frames are very important, very, very important, because the market respects the higher time frames more than it respects the lower time frames. But when we are seeing, if the market do come to this area, 45346, around that, and I start to see that the market is now actually breaking to the downside, that means that I can see that the market is breaking the uptrend. The market is breaking the pullback, and now the right move is on its way. You can see that we did have the pullback right here, and if we are taking Fibonacci from the low to the high, okay, the market didn't come to this Fibonacci level. And when I'm using Fibonacci, I always take it from the previous from the highest point and the nearest lowest point, because you can see that it makes no sense if I would use this high right here on 4954, taking it to this low, because there is no connection. This happened for too long. It has to be like in the same move, if I can explain it like that. So this high is connected to this next lower low, right? It's the same move. But when I'm using the Fibonacci, I want the market to give me so this is a downtrend, so I want the market to give me bullish candlestick to the upside, so I see that the market is actually retracing. So that's how I use it. So from this high to this low gives me a Fibonacci level. The market just touched the 50% of it. It didn't come the whole way into the Fibonacci levels. And that's something, I mean, when you practice, you can use the lower time frames and see where it potentially can come to. Do you wait for a retest when the price reaches your market level, then enter on your, or you enter right there after spotting some doji? I obviously want to see, I obviously want to see, like, for example, now when we are in this downtrend, this overall downtrend, if the market comes to these Fibonacci levels, and I see that we potentially can have a new lower high on the higher time frames, I'm using the lower time frames to see, I mean, just because the market comes here and give me a doji, that doesn't mean I'm going into the market, because you can see dojis everywhere. But what I want the market to do is give me, like you always talking about, like the first leg, the second leg. And the second leg, I need two confirmations that the market is actually respecting to it. Because if I only have one doji or a couple of dojis around here, that doesn't actually tell you or me that the market, it's on its way down. So I want the market to start making a downtrend. And with the downtrend, I want the market to break. I don't want the market to break to the upside. I want the market to respect the previous high. So if the market starts to come up like this, I only take it from the body. I never use my Fibonacci on the wicks. That's how I do it. But go back to how I wanted to explain. So the market is obviously giving us a uptrend. So when the market comes to this area and we start to see that the market is on its way down, I obviously want to see that this leg right here is going to close below the previous high. Otherwise, the market will it just shows you that it's continuing to the upside. So I want more. I mean, sometimes I even want more than just two legs. Maybe I want the market to break this previous low that we do have and make it a new resistance for me to be able to see, okay, it's actually on its way down. So the more confirmation that you do have, the better. Exactly. So I'm waiting for the lower time frames, but I also combining it with the higher time frames candlestick. So for example, if I do have a huge candlestick, on a huge bullish candlestick here, let's do it like this. Yeah, you understand. But if I do have a huge candlestick on the higher time frames, I focus more on what's happening on the higher time frames than the lower time frames. But if I start to see rejections on the higher time frames, that's when I'm looking at the lower time frames and I'm starting to see, okay, right now the market is actually going down because the higher time frames candlestick is telling me it's rejecting to it, and that's when I'm breaking it down to the lower time frames. But if we do have this huge candlestick to the upside, just because we are in the Fibonacci levels doesn't mean the market has to come back down. It can just break the levels, don't care about the Fibonacci levels, and just continue straight up. So the levels that you're only using them for you to be able to see if the market reacts to it, or just skip it, right? So that's why you need these confirmation to see actually, oh, it's on its way down now. Not, oh yeah, Natalie told me that this Fibonacci level is gonna be our new lower high, so I'm gonna sell the market. But we do see the market's just continuing to the upside. We don't want to buy a market that just shows us bullish candlestick, or sell. Sorry, we don't want to sell a market that just shows us it's on its way up, or vice versa. So that's why it's really, really important using these zones, but combining those with candlestick patterns and how the candlesticks is working. Because we did have this huge drop right here. I know it's a lot of people buying the market with hope that the market it's on its way up, because you saw this right here, and everyone's like, I'm gonna buy the market now because it's so low, the market just dumped. And what happens, okay, we go up a little bit, but we have the second dump right here, and now everyone's buying the market like crazy. And after that, market comes up a little bit, and then it slams to the downside too, because the market is actually telling you, hey, Natalie, we are making a high, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, and maybe we're coming to make another lower high. But obviously that's something that I have to wait and see. So never buy or sell a market because you hope the market will go to a certain area. You have to follow it. Market actually showing you all the time what it's doing. If you're just taking away your own beliefs or hopes what the market will do. But I understand when you are trading in the, I understand that you want to hold it for a while. You're obviously looking for the best price, but you have to be very careful and see what the market is telling you, because it shows you the whole time what it's doing. So yeah, can you see when I was talking about don't have too much on the charts? I mean, everyone's different. I'm not gonna tell you that you should not have it, but just have in mind that even now, looking at the chart like this, I'm confused. I'm very confused with this, So that's why I always try to clean it up. Obviously now I'm showing you guys, but when I do analyze the market, I want it as clean as possible. You see, just by taking away some of the things, it makes sense. So yeah. Is there anyone else you want me to look at? I mean, they're all doing the same thing. And the same thing with this. It's a really good area. Matic. I've never looked at that before. Is it that one? That's the correct one, right? Matic. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the one that you want me to look at? Great. So if we are taking this one, it's the same thing. I take it from 1.792 to the high. That's 1.683. So we did make a low right here, and after that we came back down, and we just made a new lower high, a higher low. I'm sorry, because I'm with the Fibonacci levels, obviously. And when we're looking at the daily, it's the same here. We do have the little downtrend. So we made a high, but we did break this low. We broke it. We came back up and retested 1.440, came back down, and we broke the previous lower low. But right now we are in this we are in the Fibonacci levels that we're using on the higher time frames, and obviously that's more, I mean, the market respect those areas more than the lower time frames. So I would say, if you want to do something, I would recommend to wait for the market to come to between 1.240 and 1.221. And if you start to see that the market is starting to on the lower time frames, if it starts to break into the downside, be aware that the market can actually just can be on its way down again, so it's making a lower high. No. So right now I wouldn't do anything, but I would definitely start to look at the market when it comes to this previous support. See if it's turning it to a new resistance. But if it's breaking the support, you just might see the market coming back up and come back down and retest it as and break the support and make a new support. Because if we're looking at, yeah, I would say look at 1.276 and 1.219 and see if the market how the market reacts to it when it's coming to that area. Because you can see on the 12-hour, because I'm using a lot of time frames, so sometimes it can be confusing if I'm doing the lives. But the more time frames that I'm using, the more of an overall picture I will have. So right now we did have a lower high because it's lower than the previous lower high. We came back down, made a lower low, but using the Fibonacci levels, we want to see if the market comes back up here and make us a new lower high. So if the market comes here, we definitely want to see if the market starts to react and give us like dojis and wicks to the upside and maybe a evening star. And you can also, you can use it on the higher time frames, like 4 hours. 4 hours is very good. I don't see 1 hour as a high time frame. For me, 4 hour and up, it's the bigger time frames that I'm using. 1.241. Yeah, exactly. So in between this area, because it's all, for me, I always use the zones because it's not just one specific area, it's a zone. So between 1.233 and 1.277, if we start to see movements to the downside, you have to think about that we just might have a new lower high. So this is something you need to be aware of. When I'm talking about the lower time frames, I usually use it from the 3 hour to 3 minutes. That's for me a lower time frames. As you can see, I'm having 2 charts, and on the right side, I always have the lower time frames. For and that's different. Sometimes take it from 3 hour to the 15 minutes. That for me is lower time frames. 4 hour and up, that's for me higher time frames. So on the left chart, you will always see me using the higher time frames, and on the lower time frames, on the right chart, I'm using the lower time frames. And if the market comes to this area, it doesn't have to stop right here. The market obviously is not perfect. The market can, and you can see that we do have the trend line right here. So if the market comes to the trend line and you start to see rejections to the downside, have in mind that we just might have a new lower high. So don't start buying the market like straight away. Just have that in mind. If you want to start to buy the market and we are seeing that the market is actually on its way up, we need to know where the market what area the market needs to break. So if we do have, this was our lower high, the market has to break that one. The market has to break the previous lower high for it to break the downtrend. So on the way up to this area, the market can still be in a downtrend, and then it continues down. If the market breaks it, comes back down, and we see that the market is actually reacting, making it to a new support, the previous resistance turning into a new support, that's when we want to start to see, the market might just continue to the upside right now. But if the market comes to this area right here, and we start to see that the market has some troubles breaking it, that just might be a new lower high. Makes sense? So that's how I do it. So for all the pairs right now, because obviously what we can see, they're all looking the same. You can see like it's the same thing on everyone. I would say just right now you just have to wait. If you're finding in a area to buy the market, if you want to scalp it, just have in mind where the market can make another lower high. How did you start your journey of trading? Like, did you took any course or read any books? I started trading 2018. And it was through a course, but it wasn't actually a course. But I met a guy from Sweden there, and he studied trading more than I did, and we became very close friends. So he actually started to teaching me how to trade. And I was in this company for a while, but then I did quit. So after that, I started to trade for myself. So I was just looking at the charts like this the whole time. And after that, I just been studying. And I've never read, I did read one book, Candlestick Bible, but it was hard for me to read. I wanted someone to talk to me like you are watching like this. For me, it's easier if someone is telling me this is how it looks. It's hard for me to read, but I know it's a lot of people that's been reading this Candlestick Bible, and because that's price action. But trading crypto, because obviously I started with Forex, then I started trading index, and then I just started doing crypto, and it was just something about crypto that I loved. You can just feel something with certain pairs, yeah. And I just love Bitcoin. 44. The King of Kings, shorting at 45.5-ish. Yeah, I mean, that's the same area that I was talking about. Yeah. But as long as we are seeing the market react to it, how the market reacts to it, that's when we're making the decision. Because right now, I mean, you can never say that we're gonna sell at this area, because we don't know how the market. I mean, the market might just spike to. I mean, the market might just looking like this, but to the upside. So that's why we always have to follow what the market is doing. So that's something that I learned, that it's really easy to just see the market as a buy market, a bullish market, and when you just see that, you are taking away all the possibilities for the market to actually for you to see the selling opportunities. So some people actually have it easier to see buy opportunities than sell opportunities, because it's something inside of our brain that's, I mean, so for me, that was something that I also had problems with in the beginning, was that it was easier for me to see the market and buy the market than it was to sell the market. And the market like showed all the time like it's on its way down, but in my mind it was like, but I want the market to go up, because it's easier for me to see the patterns when it's on its way up. And that, I mean, everything with trading is so emotional and so mental, and you just have to take your mind away from what you think the market will do and just follow the price. Okay, so guys, this was my first live that I had, and I do enjoy it. I think it's very funny for you, for having a lot of people watching this. I'm actually gonna end this live right now, but as I told you on all the pairs, just wait to see when the market comes to the previous support that we do have on all pairs. Even Bitcoin, Ethereum, you have the support. Looking at the 4 hour. If you don't have time to look at the market, just put the alert, and the market and the TradingView will send out a signal when if the market comes to that area. And it's the same thing for all of them. So look at the previous support, okay? And after that, we will see if the market reacts to it and start to move to the downside. But I'm gonna start to have my live sometime in the morning before London session. So I hope a lot of you guys will join me. I hope you guys will join me in the morning, and we're just gonna see what works for us, right? This is the first time, so I'm very thankful that you've been very nice to me. I'm very happy about that. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, but that's okay. I think I managed it, and thank you for looking at it. Thank you so much, guys. You're very polite. So please continue believe in yourself with trading. It's really hard sometimes, but it's everything has to do with that you need to trust yourself. But obviously it's a hard and it's a long road, but we as a trader, that's something that we're all going through. So I hope to see you in my next live or the next video that I'm gonna put up. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video, and we see each other later. Okay, have a good day. Bye bye, everyone.